Buying a Bitcoin, whether it's one Bitcoin or a million Satoshis or 100,000 Satoshis or one Satoshi, is just like buying into New York City 250 years ago.
You've probably seen the headlines, just zero point 0.1 Bitcoin could fund your retirement. Sounds exciting, right? But let's be honest, can it really be true? Or is it just one of those eye-catching articles meant to get clicks? If you're 33 or older, retirement isn't some distant dream. It's closer than you might think, and the choices you make today will shape how comfortably you live in the future. So today, let's talk about whether zero point 0.1 Bitcoin, roughly $10,600 right now, could really let you retire early, and how you can figure out your own retirement plan using Bitcoin. By the end of this video, you'll understand when zero point 0.1 Bitcoin might realistically be enough for retirement, how to calculate your personal freedom number, the amount of money you need to comfortably stop working, why Bitcoin could be an important part of your retirement strategy over the next decades. Why even think about Bitcoin for retirement? When I first got into Bitcoin, nobody was talking about retiring with a fraction of a coin. People dreamed about retiring with tens of Bitcoin, not tenths. Fast forward a few years, and now the conversation has completely changed. People are asking, could zero point 0.1 Bitcoin actually do the job? Here's the thing. Bitcoin isn't just a digital coin. It's part of a global, decentralized financial system, powered by computers and real-world energy. Adoption is growing faster than ever. Think of it like the internet in the 1990s. Most people didn't get it then, but those who jumped in early ended up ahead. Right now, more than 55 million wallets hold Bitcoin, and we're still early in the game. And while no one can predict the future perfectly, those who recognize exponential growth early tend to benefit the most. Let's put it in perspective. Over the past 5 years, $100 in the S&P 500 almost doubled to $195. That's solid, right? But the same $100 invested in Bitcoin grew to about $1,000. That's a big difference, and it shows why some people are excited about including Bitcoin in their long-term plans. Michael Saylor, the CEO of Strategy, even estimates Bitcoin could grow 30% per year for the next 20 years. That's not small change. It's enough to seriously impact retirement planning. And Bitcoin isn't just about price growth. It has unique features that make it attractive for long-term wealth. Scarcity. Only 21 million coins will ever exist. Unlike dollars, real estate, or stocks, you can't print more. Self-custody. You hold it yourself. No bank, no broker, no middleman. Nobody can freeze your account or take your money. Portability. You can carry your Bitcoin on a small hardware wallet anywhere, unlike gold or real estate. These qualities make Bitcoin a powerful tool for retirement, especially when traditional financial systems feel unstable. And here's something I love to remind people. Even small amounts matter. Imagine planting a tree. You start with a tiny seed, and if you water it consistently over years, it can grow into a strong tree that gives shade, fruit, and shelter. Bitcoin works a bit like that. Even 0 0.1 may not seem like much today, but with time it could grow into something significant. So, can 0 0.1 Bitcoin really cover retirement? The honest answer is, it depends. Your age, lifestyle, current savings, and expectations all matter. For some, 0 0.1 Bitcoin could be enough. For others, it won't come close. To figure out your personal answer, ask yourself, when do I want to retire? How long will I live after retiring? How much have I saved already, and how long will it last? How much income will I need per year? How much Bitcoin do I already own? And how much can I invest going forward? Answering these questions gives you your freedom number, the amount of money you need to retire comfortably. The assumptions behind the math. To make this simple, I ran some calculations using a few assumptions. Bitcoin is the only source of retirement income. Most people will have other sources, but this helps simplify the math. Life expectancy, 83 for men, 86 for women. Bitcoin grows 30% annually. Inflation averages 7% per year. You want $100,000 per year in today's dollars. Depending on your location, capital gains taxes may apply when selling Bitcoin. These assumptions aren't perfect. They're meant to give a general idea, but they help illustrate the power of Bitcoin over time and the role it can play in retirement planning. Meet 4 people: Alex, Rachel, Daniel, and Sophia. To make it real, let's look at 4 examples. Alex, age 30, buys 0.1 Bitcoin and holds it. According to the calculations, he could retire at 51. Not too shabby. This gives Alex plenty of time to pursue hobbies, travel, and maybe even start a small side business in his 40s before retiring fully. Rachel, age 40, buys the same 0.1 Bitcoin. She could retire at 61. That's doable, though she may want to consider dollar cost averaging into more Bitcoin over the next decade to retire a few years earlier. Daniel, age 50, only 0.1 Bitcoin means he wouldn't be able to retire until 71. For Daniel, early retirement would require a larger investment today, or a combination of Bitcoin plus other income sources. Sophia, age 60, with just 0.1 Bitcoin, she'd have to work until 80. Clearly unrealistic. Sophia would need a much bigger Bitcoin holding or supplemental income to realistically retire at a reasonable age. So the reality? If you're under 40, 0.1 Bitcoin might be enough for early retirement. But if you're over 45, you'll likely need more than that small slice. For example, Daniel, 50, would need about 0.3 Bitcoin today to retire at 65, or he'd have to invest around $600 per month until then. Sophia, 60, would need a whopping 2.4 Bitcoin today to retire at 65, or she'd have to invest $75,000 per month, which is obviously unrealistic for most people. Even though the numbers for older investors seem intimidating, there's a silver lining. Time and consistency still work in your favor. Even if you can't buy a large chunk today, consistently investing smaller amounts over time adds up, and Bitcoin's growth potential could still make a difference. Lessons for anyone over 33. So, what can we learn from this? Time is your best friend. Younger investors benefit hugely from compounding. Older investors have less time for exponential growth, but even small, consistent contributions matter. Be realistic about growth rates. Don't rely on overly optimistic numbers like 100% per year. Conservative planning is safer, and any upside is a bonus. Longevity matters. Women tend to live longer than men, so retirement savings need to last extra years. Planning for extra decades of life ensures peace of mind. Diversification is key. Bitcoin alone may not cover everything. A mix of assets, stocks, bonds, real estate, and Bitcoin can help balance risk and reward. For people over 45, Bitcoin alone probably won't replace your retirement plan, but it can be a powerful component, especially if you start early. The earlier you get serious about stacking Bitcoin, the more options you'll have down the road. Bitcoin is still in its early adoption phase. Most people haven't even started yet. That means the window to get ahead is wide open. If you're younger, even a small holding like 0.1 Bitcoin could grow into something meaningful over decades. If you're older, you'll need more Bitcoin or additional income streams to make early retirement realistic. Remember, small steps compound over time. Even modest investments now can become significant later, just like planting seeds and watching them grow into a sturdy tree. So here's the big question. Will Bitcoin be part of your retirement plan? Start learning, start planning, and you might be able to retire earlier and more comfortably than you imagined. Have you ever wished you had learned about Bitcoin earlier? Make sure to teach your kids or young family about it now, before it's too late. This team's ebook is perfect for that. Link in the description.